Why do I keep bees?
I keep bees because I love having them in my yard and part of my life. I love beekeeping, and I do love the honey as well, but more importantly, I like keeping them alive.
Of course, yes, pollination. Yes, there's some honey. Yes, there's beeswax. Yes, there's propolis. But the main reason we have the bees here is for their gesture in the whole system. And we're interested in what they bring as a living being to the whole.
It's a wonderful hobby. It's a lot of work, and you do get stung, but the rewards are good. The honey is so sweet.
I just find them fascinating and lovely, and they produce delicious things, and they're really interesting creatures. The more I got into them, the more I learned about them. Just their habits and what they do and how they survive. It's just really, really interesting to me.
Unlike human beings, the bees are really good at working together and dividing labor, and everybody does their part so that they can make the world a better place.
The main reason that we got bees is that students asked for it. Students wanted to learn about bees, and they didn't exactly know why. And what we came up with, what the students voiced, was a desire to connect, to reconnect with nature. And somehow bees became this incredible ambassador for nature.
I think the majority of people who keep bees in the Roaring Fork Valley do so just out of a love for the bees. It's been in the news for the last 10 years about the whole colony collapse disorder that's been going on. The bees are dying, and people really want to help, and they see beekeeping as something that they can do. And it's a very viable thing to do, but the unfortunate part is people are getting bees, but they're not getting educated in how to keep bees, and so the bees die, typically, and then they get more bees in the spring, then those die after a year or two, and then they give up. There are a lot of empty hives in this valley because people just stop keeping bees because they get frustrated. If you had a puppy that died every year, you'd probably stop buying puppies. It's no different. People really fall in love with their bees. They get very, very emotional about it.
I noticed as it started to get warmer that the bees weren't just as active as they had been in the past. And I was trying to be optimistic, and I really didn't want to open the hives because I was a little concerned that they might not have lived. And a couple weeks ago we opened up my neighbor's hive, and her hive did not make it. And I knew at that point that unfortunately my hive didn't make it either.
Beekeeping is a heartbreaking hobby. Don't take it on unless you're willing to lose friends, and thousands of friends, because you get really attached to your bees, and guess what? They don't always make it.
I think one of the greatest mistakes that most backyard beekeepers make is just not having a knowledgeable base to go with when there's a problem with your hive. With the bees, like, how do you tell? It's not like a puppy where it's like take it into the vet. There are no insectologists in the area or anywhere that I know of that can come and take a look at them and tell me what's wrong with them. So even knowing that there's a problem with your hive is a huge mistake in itself. And you don't realize it till all your bees are dead. And then what do you do?
You make a lot of mistakes in the beginning, and you learn from your mistakes. Some of my first mistakes were not feeding them enough in the spring, and they would die. Not making the right rotations, trying to split the hives when they weren't ready. I still make mistakes, and I'll probably continue making mistakes, but you learn from those mistakes.
This is not easy to do in a place like where we live, where the winters are pretty long and can get really cold, and most importantly, where the temperature and weather can change drastically in a short period of time.
It's not the easiest place to raise bees. If I was in Florida, I would have a longer season. I did lose more hives than I wish I would have.
I really think that we all need to work together and to put aside our preconceived notions and to assiduously search for the truth about what the problems of bees are and how we can deal with those.
We don't know what we're doing. If we come from that point when we work with bees, we're going to find in humility they have a lot to teach us.